Is that better?
That's all right. My microphone wasn't on either. We're having a great day.
Is it Monday?
I don't know. So anyway, June 24th.
Yes.
Good morning. Today would have been my mother's 83rd birthday.
That's cool.
So, however, it is not.
Well, it is.
It is.
It still is. You can still celebrate it.
Yes.
So what else is going on?
I was going to ask you.
Oh, well, so
Well, I'm going to ask you a question later on when Mr. Malin apparently might show up.
Yeah, I'm thinking he might have gotten held up with that call they just had. They just had a car accident. So I'm guessing that's where he went. I'm not sure. But
and that was over by the school?
It looked like it, yeah. Based on the address that it gave. But didn't sound like anything major, so that's good.
I want to talk about this. Like, just want to mention I saw something online, which was funny, but it was only funny because it was really unintentional.
The context and everything.
But the context is like, right, so whenever you put a microphone on, you have a tendency to, you over enunciate things, and you want to go ahead and you want to sound as good as you can. Your diction, your grammar, whatever it is, you want to sound the best you can. There was a legendary broadcaster back in the day by the name of Harry Carey from the Chicago Cubs. Well, his son now is the broadcaster.
Oh, cool.
For them, and he has been a trusted broadcaster for many years, just like his dad was. And he had I guess blunder is the best way I can say it, but it was it made it all over social media if you have not heard it. But they were doing Disability Pride Flag Night at a Chicago. Look at you, you're about ready to lose it.
God.
Disability Pride Flag Night.
Mm-hmm.
And he accidentally said, Disability Pride, just take the L out. And it wasn't on purpose.
No.
He didn't do it on purpose, but it made it all over social media. And you can tell just by the way he was speaking. Now, I've made blunders like that before, and it's like you immediately catch them. And I don't know if I've been going that bad.
And once it's out, it's out. I mean, you can't put it back in.
Yeah. Well, it's Pride Night, so if it's out, it's out.
It's out, right? I have to say, though, Disability Pride Flag is quite a mouthful, no pun intended.
Yeah.
But it is, I mean, that's a lot to, like, it doesn't just roll off the tongue very easily. So, but, but yeah, it's, it was funny.
Yeah. So if you get a chance, look up Chicago Cubs broadcaster. Blunder. And it'll come across. It's funny, but it's not funny. But but the thing is that the things that happen like that, I hate to say it, I find the funniest.
Of course.
Because they're just
not expected. Yep. Not expected. It's natural, and you're just like, oh crap. I mean, what do? You got to just keep going. But yeah, and those things happen. I mean, everyone's human. Those things happen. Certainly wasn't intentional. You could see, I mean, you could tell it wasn't intentional.
Yeah, just the way you said it too.
Yep.
So it's referendum day part 2.
Yes.
Literally.
Yep.
We talked about it yesterday a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about it again today, just because it's very, very important. You have other towns that are still struggling.
Yep.
With their education budget and specifics.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things, like for example, yesterday we did a show. We do another show now on Mondays at noon, centered around the Norwich Sea Unicorns. And one of the things that we talked about was the town budget in Norwich, and how they're having a hard time, and the taxpayers in Norwich are getting beat up.
They're not happy at all. And Norwich is set up a bit differently. The government's set up a bit differently. They have a mayor and
town council.
Right. So it's set up differently than we are, structured differently. But taxes in Norwich are crazy. My brother lives there, and it's insane. They do have a lot of services in town, but it's still a lot. Yeah. It's a lot.
They do. I mean, they have multiple fire departments. They have police departments. They don't even have a public high school.
No, NFA is not.
Isn't that weird?
Considered a private. Yeah, it's considered a private, but they do have several schools. They're also building, which I thought was strange, but they're building 3 new schools, I believe, and they're looking to get a new police station. I think they're looking to revamp the old Chelsea Groton that was downtown, and move into that. But of course, that is going to cost money. And with the 3 new schools they're building
in Norwich,
which is strange. I don't know why they're building 3 new schools. That's a lot. So, and I haven't followed it that closely. Maybe I'm sure they've justified it somehow, but it's a lot of money. And taxes have to pay for it.
Yeah, and I was having a friendly argument with a gentleman from Norwich who is for, I'm going to say, the sale of Dodd Stadium.
Okay.
And supposedly, the money from that, they can balance the budget. And but what I don't understand and I don't agree with at all, and not because that I have my hand in the jar a little bit as far as Dodd Stadium. I'm not a Sea Unicorns employee, although we do work with them.
Yep.
But the feeling that I have has nothing to do with my personal feelings with Dodd Stadium and the people that work there who I've come to really enjoy being around. I don't see how this, when you look at the city of Norwich, right? We look at Griswold, right? As a whole, and and what our real world problems are, and compared to other towns, it's really not much.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about silly things like fracking, fracking. and that kind of crazy stuff, but we don't talk about other towns, as what they're having for problems.
Yep.
Now I want to get your thought on it too, because we also had Matt Lissy on yesterday from Capital Property Group, and he's a successful businessman, and he understands this stuff. I'm not in real estate or anything like that, but I think I have a handle on it. My thought was, as him, and it's funny because we almost used the exact same words. We said, well, if they sell Dodd Stadium, it's a stopgap. It's okay. That's what happens this year.
That's what I was thinking. That was my first thought when you said, "Oh, they can balance the budget." That was my very first thought. Was that's great for this year, but what happens down the road?
And I said to I said to this gentleman that I was arguing with or debating. I said, "It sounds like what are you going to sell next year?
Right,
Egan Park,
right? Yeah,
I mean, it's not going to be." I think they need to divest it out of the town, and sell it, get it off of the town's coffers, but they should keep it. They should sell it with the intention that there's going to be, sports, baseball, family environment, or somewhere. Because where the hell are they going to go? Where are people going to go?
I don't know. Yeah, they'd be leaving town. And I mean, the whole purpose was to bring people to that town.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I remember, God, back in the day, people getting off the highway, it would just be one straight line going into the industrial park, on game nights. And, they had to close off that back entrance where, people that were from around here knew how to get in the back way, and they had to close that off because of the line of people. And, that's what, they brought, it was tourism, it was a tourist attraction.
And if they get rid of that, what are they going to have?
Right. Yep. And like you said, it's a stopgap. Great, you'd be able to balance the budget this year, but so what do you do next year?
Somewhere you can
Right? Like, and then
what else do they have?
And I'm seeing this. It seems to be, I don't know if it's a trend or I don't know what it is, but it seems to be that when decisions like that are made or when they're discussed, very short-sighted, and not just that particular example. It is, and I've seen it in other situations too, where it's just very like, well, we're going to deal with it now, and then we'll worry about later. And my brain doesn't work that way, so I struggle with that personally. Like, great, but what's the plan? What's our end goal? What is the plan, and how are we going to get there? And will this really get us there? And there's not a lot of thought that goes into, doesn't seem like it anyway, that goes into decisions like that, where they look down the road. They're looking at right now, and it'll be somebody else's problem next time.
Right. So, the question is, what's next? What do they do next? You know?
Yeah.
I think the city of Norwich has failed that stadium. I think they could have done a lot of things with it. And now that they haven't, it's like, okay, well, we'll just get rid of it, instead of, turning it. It's an asset.
Yeah, it is strange that they haven't used it more. And I didn't realize that it was theirs. I never really thought much about it, but I don't know why they haven't used it more. There's so many other things you could do there besides baseball. You got plenty of parking.
You could do the baseball, but there's so many other things. In addition,
right? To supplement it, in addition to that, there's so many other things you can do there. You can do shows there. You can do.
See, I don't know where personally. I don't know where the Sea Unicorns management ends and where the town picks up. As far as events and that kind of thing are concerned.
But I'm sure something could have been worked out all along. I'm sure there's a schedule, and when the Sea Unicorns are there and all of that. But I would think there could have, and there should be like a committee or something coming up with events that you can do there. Have a carnival set up there. That's
one of the things I thought of yesterday.
Do like little concerts or something there. Or have like how they go around to Woodstock and all these other fairs. Have something like that come in, or there's just there are things you can do to supplement when the Sea Unicorns are off. Right. When they're not, when they don't have a game, and that's something the town could be doing. You can and involve other businesses. Involve local restaurants, or hey, you attend this event and you get $5 off your meal at this place, or I don't know. There are things that can be done. It's just. I think it boils down to.
I think the town in Norwich is like, and they're it's like, we got to do something now. What can we sell?
Right. Yeah.
Then they're having, it's like a fire sale.
Yeah. So. Well, like I said, it wasn't. It almost seems like a lot of their planning or lack of. They didn't look down the road. Like I said, they're looking to build a new police department. There are 3 new schools. Where do they think all this money was going to come from? You gotta, I don't know if they're going for grants and that sort of thing. Maybe part of it will be that, but this is what happens when you don't look down the road and plan properly. Right. You find yourself in this sticky situation, unfortunately. And then it, all shit rolls downhill. So it ends up, on the taxpayer. Unfortunately.
Unless you're in space.
In space.
And then it doesn't roll downhill.
No, I guess not. Then does it roll? It doesn't even roll.
It doesn't roll. It just kind of
it just kind of floats. It's floater.
So it's floaty. So we have the budget vote today. As far as the education budget, it was a question I asked you yesterday, and that's why I wanted to talk to Wayne, because I felt he jumped all over me. When he said, that's a trap question for Kathy. And I'm like, how is that a trap question for Kathy?
No.
But that actually bothered me.
Did it?
Yes, it did.
Oh.
It did. Because I'm like, how can that? And that's why I said I would ask Mary Beth the same question.
Yeah. No, and I didn't feel it was a trap question. It's an honest question.
So I'm not sure where he was coming from. So
I don't know either.
That's why.
But yeah, no, it's an honest question, and it's a fair question. That's what people want to know. The Board of Education budget did not pass at the referendum on June 3rd. So Board of Finance asked the Board of Ed to cut $450,000. So essentially what happened with that, superintendent went back, started looking at the budget again. Right. We met as the Board of Ed.
Fireball?
No, thank you. Right. We met as the Board of Ed. And they were still looking at the budget, trying to figure out where, like what we were talking about yesterday, it's not as easy as just going through and being like, okay, this line item gone. Okay, that'll get it seems like it should be that easy, but it's not, unfortunately. I mean, you kind of have to go line by line, and there's a lot of them, and there's 3 schools too. Or 4 schools that you have to keep in mind too, right. when we're looking at cuts. So it's not as simple as, we'll take 5% here or 10% here, or just nix this line altogether.
No, the 4th school you're talking about is Soul Street Academy.
Yes. Yep. So, if we're looking at positions, you don't want to say, okay, we're going to cut this position, because that may or may not actually happen. If the budget doesn't pass today, then maybe that position will stay, and then maybe they just cut a different position, to meet the cuts. So it's there's a lot of moving pieces. So they don't want to come right out and say, okay, this is this, this is this, this is this. It's general. I mean, right now with the Board of Ed budget, with the $450,000 cuts, I think what it is we may be looking at positions and programs.
How can it not be?
And programs. Yeah, $450,000 is a lot of money. We certainly don't want to cut positions. I mean, nobody wants to cut positions. That's the last thing you want to do. But the budget was already very lean as it was. So, and with all the mandates that come down, the unfunded mandates, like everyone deals with, we have those that we have to fund, and then all the contracts and everything. It adds up. Transportation costs, the buses, the insurance, all of it. Sure it adds up. So it certainly wasn't padded. So to find $450,000 is a challenge.
I don't think it's ever padded.
No, God, no. No,
I don't think it's ever padded at all.
It's very lean, and it's and they go after a lot of grants to supplement the budget, throughout the year. And we mention those every time. At all of our BOE meetings, we'll mention any grants that were received. But teachers go after grants, the administration goes after grants, that sort of thing. So it's we do the best we can with what we have. So the vote.
Bottom line is jobs are going to get lost.
Potentially.
I'm not gonna.
It's definitely a possibility for sure.
At when we're trying to cut $450,000 with no fluff.
Yeah, I mean it's likely to happen. Don't know what positions. Don't know which would be cutting them entirely or part time or that we don't know yet. But I mean we had to cut it $450,000. It's not like we're going to take that out of the construction paper and pen line item. I mean it's.
I'm glad we could make it to sit down and start texting.
My wife just told me she just got to Walmart, get her order, and her car won't start now.
Oh, no.
And I was just down at the traffic accident. Don't touch me. I'm sweaty as all
It's all right, baby. I love you anyway.
It's hot out there. I was just standing there waving.
I saw you when you walked in. I'm like, oh, my God.
Right. So people slow down, all right? Slow down. My God, the car that got hit, it's still sitting there. They can't have trouble getting it to get up on the tow truck because the front end's so banged up. It's like, and this is down the stretch by the school.
So it was on 164.
To 164. It's like, how fast are you going? Mm-hmm. I mean, broadside the other car, it looked like. It was just. So the cops are still there. It's still a bit of a backup. They got one lane open. They relieved us. State cops took over the scene. But so now it looks like I have to leave again. Go help my wife out, Mike. Sorry.
See you another day.
My wife's more important than you. Yeah. I hate to say that. I will tell you one thing. She did tell me if the budget passes with what we have now, we're down to cutting positions. So that's what she said. That's where we're at now.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to beat around the bush.
Mm-hmm. No. And I'm glad you did.
All respect to Kathy, but that's pretty much where we're at.
We don't know what positions or full-time, part-time, right. or dropping them down. We'll have to figure that out.
Let me give her a call, see if she got started yet.
Well, that's not your phone. That's just.
Oh, no.
I thought you were going to.
Turn that off.
Hello, Mary Beth.
She's not answering.
Funny guy.
This is one of these old cordless phones, I think. I don't know. Well,
Rough morning.
yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Wayne. Good to see you.
So budget vote today.
I'm glad he said what he said. I'm glad he said what he said.
Yeah, I mean,
but you can't candy coat it.
We're gonna try like hell to not cut, but I mean to not.
There's no way.
I know, and
you can't say that. You can't. Of course, nobody wants to cut. That's a given. Yeah, nobody wants to cut jobs.
Of course,
that's good. But when you have $500,000, you got to slice fat. Mm-hmm. It's got to come from somewhere. Yeah. And that's a big nut.
It is.
It's not like we're gonna say, you know what? Maybe we just won't, get that mimeograph machine, or you know what I'm saying.
I know. But and as far like we do have several vacancies, we have openings, that sort of thing. Those won't be filled. And that was already on the that was already being done. So
let me ask you a question: is the budget? And I don't know this. Is the budget the way it sits right now? Does it include all the positions that they were potentially going to backfill?
Like
or
no.
Okay.
No.
So those positions are gone anyway.
Yeah, we're not filling.
And now they're looking to get rid of more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we already weren't filling the vacancies. So, it's unfortunate, but it's what the voters are voting for, and I mean, we like I said, we do what we can with what we have. Things are friggin' expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, contracts and pay and pensions and insurance and all of it. It adds up. I mean, and again, it's for 4 schools. The number of employees under the Board of Education's in the hundreds. I mean, a few hundred, 300, 330 or something. So, I mean, we have to pay for them all. I mean, sure. It's not cheap. So
this question here, is there a document with the proposed cuts? Is there something that residents can do? And I don't think there is.
No, because it depends on, and this is where it's like there's some moving parts, because we're looking at potentially with the 450,000 that was cut, it will most likely be positions and or programs. Don't know which positions or programs just yet, because if we don't want to come out and say, okay, we're going to cut the art program, for instance, because then if it doesn't pass tonight, that may not actually happen. Maybe it would be a different program that passes. So we can't just, it may change depending on what the result is.
Could be paras, could be teachers.
Right, exactly. And we don't know that yet. So
I think what it seems like is that the town is just is putting a number out. This is what we have to cut, this amount. We don't know what we're going to cut, but it's probably going to be this or that.
Right. Yeah. We were asked to cut 450,000. It was cut 450,000, and that number that's what's out for vote today.
Kevin Cunningham.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish.
I was going to say it was just like 32. I think now it's 32.9 and something now that it's going out there for.
In a minute, I want you to get into also, because we're going to be done in about 10 minutes today. But what you would just say what the actual number is, how it actually affects people, how much it's actually going to cost them.
What do you mean?
You had said earlier before we went on.
The taxpayers. Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Cunningham says you can't seem to keep speakers on your show. Wayne up and gone. Where the heck you been, Kevin? I haven't seen you in a dog's age.
It's almost like a Monday morning. Like it feels like off.
Yeah.
So as far as the taxes go, and Paul mentioned this yesterday, and I agree 110%. We keep talking about the 450,000 that was cut, but what does that equate to in your tax bill? So, and we talk about mill rates and all that. And I think, like Paul said, the average resident, they don't want to hear about mill rates and 450,000 being cut. They want to know how it's going to hit their wallet. How is it going to impact their monthly bills? So Mary Beth had mentioned that she had figured out for their home, it would be an increase of $8.90 a month. That's those are the numbers we're looking at, and of course every home's value is different and, all of that. But,
yes,
I mean, on average, we're talking about a few dollars, that is what it boils down to. I mean, $8.90, it costs that to go to Starbucks and get a drink. And, I mean, I understand, nobody wants increases. We've all talked about that. I think we can all agree. Nobody wants tax increases, but it's, you have to. I mean, there's no way around it. There have to be increases, but we're not talking, your bills going up hundreds of dollars per month or anything like that. I mean, we're literally talking $10, $5, depending on your home.
Right.
And that's per month.
I don't know. I think I do think people need to know what it is in actual dollars and cents, not so much the mill rate.
Right. I don't think a lot of people understand that.
Confusing.
It does, because there's a calculation in there, and people don't. They just tell me how much it's going to be a month. That's all they want to know.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. I mean, Paul was 100% right yesterday.
Yeah, he's absolutely 100% right.
Yep.
I don't know why they do it that way.
Well, maybe we need to start pushing for, hey, in layman's terms, a month, how much is this? On a house that's assessed at, $200,000, it would be this. At a house that's at $300,000, it would be this. Or, and per month. Break it down so people understand really what they're voting on. Because, I mean, when you go in and you're voting on a $32 million budget, I mean, that sounds like so much. Like, oh my God, are you kidding me? This huge budget? Why would we approve this? But when you break it down to what it really is, divide that by all the employees and the cost of maintaining the buildings and the buses and all the programs and, I mean, all the supplies and all. I mean, when you break it down, I mean, utilities, there's so much that's in that budget. It's not a lot. I mean, the surrounding towns have more money and are doing less with what they have. I mean, we use every penny, I think, wisely and responsibly. And, I think we have a very good school system here that, does what they can with what they have.
I think so too. I don't feel that it's a lot of money, that's going to be increased. That's me personally. However, it's cumulative year over year. And I think that's, part of the problem, that residents see.
Yeah.
And
it has to. How can it not? It has to. Taxes have to go up every year. You don't like it. Nobody wants it, but costs of everything goes up.
And then you have, of course, the seniors.
Right. Yep.
They're on a most of them, if not all, are on a fixed income, and and every little bit.
Yeah.
Hurts.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. And I get that, and and I think
they're not going to go get a job at Foxwoods.
No.
To kind of balance this out for them.
No, and nor should they. I mean, they've paid their price. They did their time, working all those years and everything, and they're enjoying their retirement years, and it and that's where the difficulty comes into play, is that costs go up. You have no control over it. Costs go up. I mean, even with, if this budget passes today, it still went up. It's still, and next year it'll go up again, and the year after that,
it will. I mean, that's just fact of life. That's
unfortunately, yep. And and I think, and I've said this before, I think a lot of this, we're voting on the budget here in town, but a lot of this starts at the state level.
With ECS funding.
Well, I mean,
what they get and what they don't get.
Well, yes, but I'm talking even about voting for the folks that we have at the state level. Yep. We need people in there that are not going to support these unfunded mandates. You vote for people to be in office at the state level that are saying, oh, the towns have to do this, the towns have to do that, we're not going to give them any money. That's why we're in this situation.
So I know, I don't know if it was Wayne or if it was Paul, but Kevin Cunningham, first selectman in Plainfield, just said Plainfield just added a town to the town website a way people can calculate the tax increase with the projected tax change calculator.
Yep. So I think the Town of Griswold's website has something similar. I don't think it actually has something that you can type in and it spits it out for you, but I think it tells you how to do it. But I think that's a great idea.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's a great idea, though. It should be something simple like that, like calculator. You put in what it is, and it tells you how much it's going to be.
How many voters
That'd
think we're going to get? I'm thinking 350. That's my number today. I don't think you're going to get a lot.
No, I don't think it'll be as much as the last time.
Oh.
I'm going to say 400.
Okay. All right. So we'll figure it out, and we'll be back on Thursday. We'll see how many voters there actually were.
Yep. And we'll see if it passes. Keep an eye on your Facebook pages for the counts tonight.
Yeah. And just make sure you get out there and vote, folks, if you're hearing this, or tell your friends and family to get out and vote for the education budget. Either yes or no, whatever it is that you decide that is personal to you, and that's cool. Just don't complain if you don't vote.
That's right.
All right.
Yep.
Kathy, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. And good luck on the budget. Oh, we got one last
comment.
Last second comment. Then we're gonna go ahead and sign off for the day. Christina Morin. The problem people have the problem people have is the egregious spending of the school, i.e. football field. Okay. So there we go. So there's somebody, that's, we knew that was going to happen, right?
Yeah, and that football field has paid for it, brings in so much money.
And constantly want more money every year. They want more money every year because taxes and benefits keep going up.
Pay,
you look at the budget
pension,
year over year.
Yeah, pensions, it's insurance.
People are sick of it. Sorry, but remove programs that are not educationally productive.
Well, I mean, and an argument could be made that they're all educationally productive. You have kids that do better when they're doing sports.
They're sick of footing the bill for it. Christina, have you gone to a meeting to voice these opinions?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would I don't know if you
have or haven't, but I mean.
Yeah. I mean, look at
that's the place I'm glad you commented here.
Yeah. No, and that's good feedback. I mean, we were looking for that, wanting to know exactly where the pain points were. But I mean, you can look at the budget and you can see what the actuals were from last year and what's proposed this year. So you can see exactly what was spent. All of that is on the Board of Ed website, on the Griswold Public Schools website. And you can see all that. I mean, there really is no egregious spending. It's bare bones.
And I can't speak for her, but I think she is speaking to the field.
The field, right. And the field brings money in. We have kids that have come in. We have tuition students that come in from other towns to play sports on that field.
Right.
That field brings money in.
I'm not going to tell her she's wrong for her feeling. No. All I could say is
I don't think a lot of people...
Take a look at the numbers. Look at the Sending Town money before the field, and then look at it after the field.
No, that field generates money.
It's paying for itself and then some. I think the painful thing about that is residents, for the most part, they don't see where the money goes. Right. It just goes to a line item for the town.
Right.
The education budget is an expenditure budget only. It doesn't show any income whatsoever. Any income that they have, like Sending Town kids, goes to the town. The town.
The school doesn't even keep the money that is brought in. That money, the school brings that money in, and it goes to the town. And I don't think people understand that we're not keeping the money that comes in.
If they have separate budgets, I think you would find that the education budget would actually be flat, or may even go down with all of the Sending Town kids that are coming in. But then that affects the town budget. And that'll go up.
And then and it'd go through the roof if we didn't supplement.
But averages out to be the same thing either way. So
the mill rate would definitely go up.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Good luck. Or am I saying good luck to you?
Go out and vote.
Go out and vote. Have a good day, everyone. Thank